You're faced with a choice. Your mind says, wait, think. But your emotions scream, act, now. And you're frozen, as if someone pulled the plug from the socket of your consciousness. Everything you were told about self-control was a lie. You were taught that logic is strength, that emotions are weakness. But in reality, you are merely a consequence of a war you lost long ago. Your brain doesn't work like a machine, it's like an arena. On one side is rational thinking, cold and calculating. On the other are ancient emotions that have lived through pain and fear for millennia. You are not a judge, you are the battlefield. Insight number 1, the survival frame. Emotions come first. Reason only justifies them later. You get angry, and then you figure out why. You fall in love, and then you look for a logical explanation. Psychology has long proven that decisions are born in the limbic system, even before logic has a chance to intervene. You don't choose your feelings. They choose you. Insight 2. The mask of rationality. We pretend to be in control of ourselves. In reality, we're simply rationalizing our impulses. When you're not guided by logic. You simply want to regain a sense of control. Reason becomes the advocate of emotions. It creates beautiful excuses to avoid acknowledging the simple truth. You are dependent on how you feel. Insight 3. The habit of pain. Your brain loves the familiar, even if it's suffering. It's drawn to repetition, because habit is safer than the unknown. That's why you return to the same people, the same thoughts, the same mistakes. Not because you're weak, but because the brain associates pain with survival. Emotions create a loop, and the mind serves it. Insight 4. Cold illusion. You think logic will save you from chaos, but logic doesn't heal. It freezes. It doesn't take away the pain, it preserves it. You turn feelings into numbers, arguments, and diagrams. But inside, it's all the same: restlessness, anxiety, melancholy. The problem isn't that you feel too much. The problem is that you've stopped listening to what your emotions are trying to tell you. Insight 5. The balance of power. Reason and emotion are not enemies. They are partners, you just put the wrong one at the helm. When you allow emotions to speak, but not to command, clarity is born. When you allow logic to guide, but not to overwhelm, strength is born. Your reason should be your anchor. Your emotions, the wind, and only then will you move. Think about it. Every decision, every mistake, every fall in love is a dialogue between your brain and your heart. You're not a robot or a hostage. You're a translator between two languages that are forever arguing. And if you want to control your life, stop choosing sides. Learn to listen to both. Because logic without emotion is dead. And emotion without logic is blind. Ultimately, it doesn't matter who's in control. What matters is who's aware. Until you see what's going on inside, you're controlled by what you ignore. True power lies not in control, but in awareness. And the next time your feelings clash with your logic, don't rush to choose. Look at it from the outside, because it's at that moment that you finally become yourself. You notice your mind arguing with itself. One part wants stability, the other, chaos, liveliness, the present. And you stand between them, like a judge tired of the endless process. But what if judging is unnecessary? Look at how people live. They spend years hiding their emotions behind a cold face. Scientists call this cognitive suppression, when you're so afraid of feeling that your brain stops responding altogether. You lose pain, but you also lose the zest for life. You no longer suffer, but you also no longer rejoice. You simply function. But life is not a function. It is a movement between extremes. Between fear and inspiration. Between doubt and certainty. Between logic and feeling. And it is there, in this precarious middle, that true clarity is born. Insight 6. Emotional intelligence is not softness. It's the ability to see what you're feeling and not let it destroy you. It's not denying pain, it's the ability to use it as a guide. When you're angry, ask yourself what you're protecting. When you're sad, ask yourself what exactly you've lost. When you're afraid, understand what you don't want to let go of. This way, you stop being a victim of your emotions. And become their master. Insight 7. Conscious cold. True logic isn't about numbers, arguments, or facts. It's about remaining calm in the midst of a storm. When you don't run from your feelings, but don't let them rule you either. You're like the calm surface of the water, beneath which the ocean rages. The world may be chaos, but within lies order. Do you want to control your life? Then stop running from who you are. You are not logic. You are not feelings. You are consciousness that can observe both. In this awareness lies your freedom. Not to be driven by emotions. Not to be a slave to logic. But to be the one who sees, who chooses, who lives. And when you feel torn again, remind yourself. You don't have to choose sides. You are the one who maintains the balance. Because in the end, neither logic nor feelings rule your life. You're in control. If you dare to look inside. But most don't dare. They're afraid to confront themselves without filters. They're afraid of silence, where they can hear their own thoughts. They're afraid of emotions that can't be controlled by logic. And so they live in noise, constant, artificial, and safe. News feed, messages, TV series, other people's opinions. All these sounds are just there to avoid hearing your inner voice, the one that quietly whispers, you're not living your own life. Insight 8. Noise as protection. Your brain creates information chaos to protect you from the inner truth. While you're preoccupied with the external, you don't feel the internal. This is the modern form of escape. Not alcohol, not drama, info dummy. But silence is frightening, because that's where you encounter your true self. Without masks, without scripts, without the habit of explaining everything. When you're sitting alone and suddenly feel anxious for no apparent reason, it's not a mistake. It's a signal. Your mind has finally quieted, and your emotions have begun to speak. And if you don't run away, you'll hear what they're really saying. Insight 9. The paradox of control. The harder you try to control your feelings, the more they control you. Suppressed emotions don't disappear. They simply fade into the shadows, turning into habits, reactions, and self-destruction. And one day, you don't even understand why you lose control. You say, I just lost my temper. But it's not a flash. It's a pent-up storm. And if you'd allowed yourself to feel it little by little, it would never have exploded. Insight 10. Emotions as energy. Every feeling is not an enemy, but fuel. Anger can become a boundary. Fear, intuition. Sadness, depth. You don't need to kill your emotions. You need to channel them. The psychology of emotions puts it simply. Unexpressed feelings seek an outlet through the body. Chest pain, anxious breathing, clenched jaw, these are not accidents. This is the physics of repressed thoughts. The mind is silent, the body speaks. You think logic rules you, but if your body is anxious, you're no longer free. The brain can argue as much as it wants, but the body always knows the truth first. Insight 11. Resistance is a signal. When you resist something, the answer is already inside. You just don't want to accept it. Feeling knows, logic argues. And in this conflict, suffering is born. Your strength doesn't lie in always being rational. Your strength lies in your ability to be honest. Admit, yes, I feel pain. Don't hide it, don't explain it, just let it be. Because when a feeling is experienced, it lets go. When it's suppressed, it comes back again. That's why you get stuck in cycles, repeating old patterns. You don't hear what the emotion was trying to teach you. Insight 12. The moment of choice. Every time you face a decision, two voices speak within you. Reason asks, how? Feeling asks, why? If you listen to only one, you're missing half the truth. This is especially noticeable in relationships. You know the person isn't right for you, but you stay. You realize it's time to go, but you turn back. Your mind says, no. Your emotions say, just a little longer. And you lose again, calling it love. But love without awareness is addiction. Attraction without choice is instinct. True feeling requires the presence of reason. Only then does it become a force, not a trap. Insight 13. Emotional honesty is clarity. You don't have to be strong all the time. You have to be real. When you stop playing the logical role, you begin to understand that your vulnerability isn't weakness, but access to reality. It's in vulnerability that confidence is born. Not because you've stopped being afraid, but because you're no longer hiding your fear. And then logic becomes an ally. It stops hiding emotions and begins to guide them. This is maturity. Not coldness, not chaos, conscious balance. Insight 14. The observer within. When you learn to notice what's happening within, you cease to be a prisoner of your mind. You are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. You are the one who notices their movement. This is true freedom, not the absence of emotions, but the presence of awareness at their core. Then life ceases to be a struggle between mind and heart. It becomes a dance, where one leads and the other responds, where you choose the rhythm. The paradox is that the more deeply you understand yourself, the less you need to choose. Decisions come on their own, quietly, without struggle, because reason and feelings finally speak with one voice. And that voice sounds simple: I know who I am. No excuses, no panic, no doubts. You no longer look for someone to control your life. You simply live it, consciously, honestly, and with integrity. Because when reason and feeling stop warring, what all this existed for begins: peace and strength.